Hi, my name is Lisa Diaz. I'm with Kent Seton. Kent, tell me a little bit about yourself and your company's Center for Nonprofit Creation.
Hi, Lisa. Thanks so much for having me out today. I'm really glad that I'm here for a couple reasons. Number one, it's not often that I get an opportunity to talk about helping charities set up themselves on a national basis to do the legal paperwork. I've been in the business a long time, and I've learned a lot of little sort of tricks, all legal, of course, in order to do the paperwork properly, to help founders of organizations that have tremendous mission and tremendous passion for the charities that they want to start, but they don't know how to do it, and they don't know how to do it without getting handheld. And that's what we do here at the Center for Nonprofit Creation, is we prepare the legal paperwork for charities around the country to set themselves up in a legal way and begin operating to go out and seek charitable funds and help people in the causes that they're so passionate about.
That's great. You've been working with charities being set up for many years. What do you think are the biggest mistakes firms that do this type of work make?
Yeah, one of the things that we have to take a look at, and it's not from the standpoint of trying to be critical, but there are a lot of firms on the internet, I won't say names, that portend to prepare the paperwork, even some very large names out there. And the people that are actually doing the paperwork have no idea about what the actual rules and regulations are. And while we're not acting as lawyers for the charities, we're very, very knowledgeable about the technical rules and the corporate rules in setting up a corporation and then allowing it to become tax exempt under the Internal Revenue Code section 501c3. So the biggest thing I can tell you is, if you start with a company that doesn't really know what they're doing, even if they have a slick website, it looks like they have an idea of what they're doing, they have $10 an hour employees that are actually drafting the documents, sometimes they're using people in India to do it, but they don't really get the organization, nor do they get the rules, and therefore they can put the organization in jeopardy on a long-term basis, something that you really want to guard against.
Okay. Now, can you describe the process of creating a charity in terms of the paperwork?
Absolutely. And before I get to the actual paperwork, I missed a couple of things. One of the things that's really important when you're preparing the paperwork, a lot of firms don't have the knowledge, is they don't understand what the IRS's hot buttons are. And if you don't have an understanding of that, and the IRS receives an application that has some of the issues that they have indicated are red flag issues, it's going to immediately jeopardize the application. There are also issues I see with a lot of companies that don't understand the actual tax implications of revenue coming in. So they'll report revenue for a charity, and it's actually taxable revenue, and they won't even know it. And so it's a very important thing. The other area that they miss a lot is compensation issues. They don't understand the self-dealing rules under Section 4958 of the Internal Revenue Code.
Okay. And how long does this process usually take?
Well, let me do this, because I wasn't good with you and I didn't answer your question. You did ask me a question. How can I describe the process of creating a charity in terms of the paperwork? In other words, what's the process to set up a charity? How do you do that legally? That's the question. Number one, very, very big picture, we've been talking about the IRS. The IRS is a federal governmental entity, okay? And it has the power to approve on a federal level organizations that are exempt from income taxation. That's just the IRS. Every state has its own set of rules about taxation. So if you get 501c3 exemption, you're only receiving exemption from income taxes on a federal level. Very important point. The second point is that when you set up a charity, you have three choices in terms of what kind of entity you can set up. One is what we call an unincorporated association. The other is a corporation, and the other is a charitable trust. Most commonly, you want to set up a nonprofit corporation. If you set up a corporation or any type of entity, you do it pursuant to what we call state law. Therefore, federal law and state law applies. The important thing to understand is that under state law, you have to set up a corporation. The corporation must have articles of organization, articles of incorporation, an EIN number, which also stands for Employer Identification Number, bylaws, first minutes of your annual board meeting. Generally, there's a report that you have to file with the Secretary of State of your state. In California, they call it the Statement of Information. Separately, you need to prepare the 501c3 application, also called the IRS Form 1023. With that form, you'll need to prepare a budget, a program narrative, and also expect that after you submit your applications to the IRS, you may get further questions from the IRS. These are all things that we help organizations walk themselves through so that they can do this in the most seamless way possible.
Sounds like a lot of work. And back to my other question, how long does this process usually take?
It's a great question. First off, my background, just so you know who I am, my name is Seton. I've been a lawyer for many years here in California. I have helped set up literally thousands of charities. I originally created the Center Nonprofit Creation before any of the other internet companies were online. We've taken a lot of time in perfecting our processes for client communication or customer communication. We have a tremendous procedure for helping collaborate with our clients to help them prepare the paperwork in the most seamless way possible. We can finish paperwork in as quick as 7 business days, if not even quicker. If you don't expedite, it can take us anywhere from about 3 to 4 weeks. We work very fast, we're very helpful, we're very knowledgeable, and we're very customer oriented in terms of our process and procedure. If you decide not to expedite, then it takes about 3 or 4 weeks, as I said. But the key thing to understand, and these are very important points, just because we finish the paperwork and you send it to the IRS for approval does not mean that you're approved. You're a pending 501c3. And that process, to your question, takes anywhere from 2 to 6 months unless we can find a reason why it needs to be expedited. If you want to expedite it, it's something we can handle, let us know.
And